Everyone, thank you all for joining us for the first ever virtual non-traditional lenders forum. We are so excited to be bringing this information out to all of you. I am Amanda Busich, Associate Consultant and Operations Manager with the Northspan Group here in Duluth, Minnesota. We are just so thankful to have all of these organizations on the call with us today. We'll go through a little bit of Zoom 101 to kick us off, and then we will launch right into the presentations. From Northspan, we have myself and my colleague Bob Palmquist. From Entrepreneur Fund, we have John Atchison. From Northland Foundation, we have Alex Bastian. From the Northeast Minnesota Small Business Development Center, we have Kurt Walczak. From the Department of Iron Range Resources and Rehabilitation, we have Scott Sunvall. From Great River Energy, we have Jeff Borling, and from the Arrowhead Regional Development Commission, we have Anthony Landgren. Our goal today is to have a little bit of a Q&A at the end of the session, and we will hopefully be able to adjourn right at noon. So just want to point out a couple things here in Zoom. At the bottom of your screen, you have your mute and unmute button. We do ask that you put yourself on mute during the presentation so that there's no background noise for those presenting. You also have the option to be on or off video. And finally, just want to point out the chat box down here in the middle of your screen. I saw some people already using that. That's how we will facilitate our Q&A. So if you have any questions during the presentations, just go ahead and throw your question in there. If you are asking a question of a specific presenter, just make sure to note that so that we can direct the question to the right person. Finally, I just want to point out that this session is going to be recorded and it will be available online on the Northspan website, and we can get a link to that out to all of you that have registered so you can share that with anyone who was unable to be here today. So with that, I am going to kick us off with a little bit about Northspan. So we are a private, nonprofit, fee-based consulting group. We've been around since 1985 and currently have a team of 5 staff members and 11 on our board of directors. Our vision is to engage and elevate, and our mission is to improve the economic well-being of our clients by delivering workable, creative solutions that enhance their effectiveness. Our primary service area is in northeastern Minnesota, northwestern Wisconsin, but we are not geographically bound, so we are able to work wherever and do find that many of our clients are starting to spread out statewide. Northspan works in 3 development buckets. We have our business development, organizational development, and community development areas. I will be focusing on business development today. We also have 4 programs that we power at Northspan. Northland Connection is the first program that is a regional database of commercial properties and sites. North Force is the region's talent attraction and matching tool. We have the Minnesota Opportunity Collaborative, which was piloted last year to provide a portal of sites and projects that are located within opportunity zones in Minnesota. And finally, the last program we power is the Upper Minnesota Film Office, which provides resources for any filmmakers or content creators that are interested in shooting north of the Twin Cities. So our business development services, they nest within a network of public and private partnerships. We provide critical gap services and work with companies of all sizes through growth and transition to support the communities and the economies of the communities that we serve. Today we're really going to be hitting on the SBA 7A loan guarantee program and business valuation and succession planning services. Another service that we do offer, though, is loan program support services. So we have experience in providing loan fund administration and staffing for any communities or organizations that don't necessarily have the staff expertise or capacity to support their loan program. So if your community has some dollars that you're interested in getting out, but you're not quite sure how to do that, we also have experience in designing those types of loan fund programs to best serve your community and can also provide underwriting services for any projects that are interested in accessing those public dollars. So with that, we also provide SBA loan packaging services with community bank partners. We'll partner often with banks that may not have the staff expertise or the staff time capacity to work with preparing and packaging those loans. We can take the application from, hey, is this a good project for this program, all the way through approval and selling that guarantee on the secondary market. In addition to the 7A sales, we also have had a bunch of experience now with the COVID-19 related SBA programs like the EIDL loan and the PPP loan. We have experience on both sides from the lender point of view and the business point of view, and we're trying to keep up to date with all the changing regulations that come along with those programs as well. As far as normal time SBA lending programs, SBA has a variety. The most common program is the Express program, which provides a 50% guarantee from SBA, but I'll be speaking mostly on the 7A lending program. That one is a bank loan, so it's originated by your lender, but it comes with a government guarantee of 75%. These term loans are usually up to 10 years, but can be longer if there's real estate as part of the deal. And the max you can borrow is $5 million, which will provide your lender with that $3.75 million guarantee at maximum. So if you're a small business owner and you're wondering, why would I want to do this? You are able to get some more competitive terms. You can get financing for working capital, business acquisitions, fixed assets, a combination of both, or whatever your project needs, as long as it's meeting those eligibility requirements. And then it's going to reduce the risk to your lender and make access to capital easier for you as a business owner. So for lenders on the call, SBA 7As are attractive because you can take more risk with that guarantee on the back end of your loan. You're able to sell that guaranteed portion on the secondary market, and you can see larger returns at liquidation. Another part of the 7A program right now that's attractive because of the CARES Act is loans that are originated and put into servicing status before the end of September. Will get the first 6 months of payments made by the SBA. So that's a really attractive benefit to using this program during this time. So with that, I'm going to pass control on over to my colleague, Bob Palmquist, and he'll take it away with his business valuation and succession planning.
All right, thank you very much, Amanda. Yeah, what I'm going to cover here is business valuations and succession planning. And in the area of business valuations, we assist companies of all different sizes. We've dealt with, one-person companies, and we've dealt with businesses that have revenues over $20 million in a year as well. And business valuations typically are going to be, they can be utilized for many purposes. A lot of what we tend to use them for is to establish the value for the sale of the business, either for support financing, and a lot of those times through the SBA program, but also establishing a value for succession planning, for planning for the transition of ownership in the business. Let's see, trying to get it to move through the, there we go. When we do a business valuation, or the deliverable, and work with the business with regards to succession planning, the deliverables that we're going to provide to that business and organization is going to be a business valuation report. We're going to help facilitate the succession plan, and it's going to be tailored to the business's needs. And it's going to be using a group of advisors. So succession facilitator, legal counsel, financial advisor, accountant, and again, your business appraiser. We also can provide emergency succession plans for businesses, for-profit, nonprofit, or organizations to have a plan in place to deal with worst case scenarios within the business. Succession planning is just another form of strategic planning for the business. It's for the future of the business and the owner, but it's in a different form. It's basically as the business owner transitions out of the business and looks to life outside of the business. It's much like business planning, but it's business planning at the end of the current owner's business cycle. We also develop a plan to transfer ownership and control of the business as well, and do it in a planned and a longer-term basis with many of the steps to be taken well thought out. We've listed on this slide some of the benefits of succession planning, and these are just a few. There are a lot more that are there, but basically, some of the key things is to certainly assist the business owner in transitioning from owning that business to retirement, and the benefits of a good laid out plan is going to facilitate that retirement. It's going to control when the owner, how and when the owner exits. The biggest thing that we're looking at is going to ensure the survival and growth of the business. That's an economic development goal that we have, and being involved in succession planning. And as you can see there, we're looking at a lot of other benefits there as well. Whoops. Just some basic components of a business valuation. Most of the value is going to be driven by the cash flow and profitability generated by the business. So when we do a business valuation, we're really looking for pretty much at the historical financial information that the business owner has provided. We're also going to look at other aspects of it. How is cash flow going to be impacted moving forward? How complex is the business? What are the economic conditions that business is going to be dealing with moving forward? But again, when we do business valuations, the most heavily weighed aspect of developing that value is going to be based on profitability and cash flow. Many times when we're dealing with business valuation report may come back with a value that the business owner may be disappointed in. It may be a shortfall in what they were expecting or what they need to move forward with their personal and post-business goals. And so each business is going to be unique, and how can that business value be increased? So we'll sit down with the business owners and really discuss what what needs to be done to enhance the value of the business. And typically, what we see with businesses is that the business owner has been managing the business to control the bottom line so that they're not having to pay too much for income taxes at the end of the year, and are looking at ways of maybe restricting or reducing profitability and cash flow. When you're looking at succession, you need to be changing that mindset and look at bringing more profitability and cash flow to the bottom line. You may pay a little more taxes in it from an operating standpoint, but it's really going to enhance the value of the business as you look at selling it. So again, I covered some of these. This is just a a short marketing placard that Northspan has that talks about the deliverables you can expect and includes some of our other services that we provide. Whoops. Amanda, I went too far. So just kind of a recap of Northspan's model for assisting business development is having that flexible approach and having full range of our staff and range of expertise, from strategic planning to community work and to business assistance. We're well connected with our partners out there regionally and statewide. And we have years and years of successful experience working with our local, state, and federal grant and loan programs that are out there. So that's it for the Northspan Group.
Thanks, Bob. We will move on to the Entrepreneur Fund, and John, let me give him control here. So John, you're all set up to go through your PowerPoint.
Perfect, thank you, Amanda, and thank you, Bob. Let's see here. All right. Well, the first thing I'd like to do is just show you this stock photo of this pen and this calculator to let you know that you're dealing with a very savvy organization. I'm just kidding. I'm John Atchison. I'm with the Entrepreneur Fund. We are a nonprofit lender that started in 1989. This was during the kind of the mining downturn of the Iron Range. You know, and it was at a time when people were losing jobs and were uncertain of what the future looked like. And so we created a loan program to help those people become entrepreneurs. And so, as you can see, our vision is to have vibrant communities created and sustained by entrepreneurs. That's still our goal today. And, you know, we're looking at very uncertain times now as well. And we're doing what we can to help. So this is our service area. We've been operating for 31 years now. We're now in 16 counties in northeastern Minnesota, and we also service Douglas County in Wisconsin. Our primary office is in Duluth. We have 3 offices on the Iron Range and 1 office down in the Little Falls, Brainerd area. This is kind of a snapshot into our typical service offerings. So you'll see on the top right, SBA microloans. So a typical client for me will come into the Entrepreneur Fund, oftentimes with a business plan that they worked at with the SBDC on. Maybe Kurt Walczak worked on a business plan with them in order to get a small loan through the Entrepreneur Fund. And a typical client comes to me needing a small loan, and we usually do an SBA microloan. These are $50,000 or less loans, terms up to 6 years. They're great for startups. They're great for existing businesses as well. And then maybe a few years down the road, that client, you know, continues to expand, and maybe they're upgrading from a food truck to a brick and mortar restaurant, and they need an SBA 7A. So we refinance their smaller loans into a larger SBA 7A loan. As Amanda mentioned, these are government guaranteed loans. So if you don't have collateral, it's a great loan product for us to be able to do, because that guarantee incentivizes us to do the loan even if you don't have collateral. So this is a typical loan we would do for real estate or a large equipment purchase or even a business purchase. We also do other small business financing, which includes gap financing. So, you know, a bank might do 75% of a loan deal, and we'll come in and do the other 25. And we'll, of course, give the bank all the collateral. And then down below, you know, we've got a kind of a listing of some of our smaller workshops and events. We do have 2 Women's Business Alliance centers. And so we've got women's business conferences, we've got women's masterminds groups, various workshops and events, leadership development, things like that. And then this page is kind of outlining some of our primary services. So the Be Strategic, Grow Your Business is a program that we put together that, you know, essentially you get together with 8 non-competing businesses and, you know, we help you create a strategic business plan. And, you know, the point of it is to, you know, be able to network with like-minded peers and to be able to, you know, focus on your business instead of, you know, having to work in your business all the time. And it's been very successful. We've helped grow most of those businesses by over 25% within 2 years. The Entrepreneur Operating System is kind of an advanced system that actually the Entrepreneur Fund uses as well. It's basically a system for ongoing strategy and execution, making sure that everyone has the same vision and making sure that everyone understands the responsibility, so you're not tripping over each other. You become much more efficient. And these next 3 I'll talk about here in a second with the technical assistance. So as I said before, a typical client comes in, the first thing they do with us is they get an SBA microloan. Well, once they get that loan, they become eligible for all these other services. So it's actually a big part of my role is connecting our clients to third-party consultants. So a client will come in, they'll get the loan, and let's say they need, you know, they need to set up their QuickBooks chart of accounts and be able to create financial statements. I can connect them to a CPA who can help them get that all set up free of charge. Or I can connect them to, you know, a social media expert or a website designer to help them get all that kind of set up from the beginning. So that's a huge kind of bonus on after the loan is closed, all those clients become eligible for that. So here's a look at some of our 2018 numbers. You know, we served around 1,100 clients. Most of those clients accessed our consulting services, and that was about 210 loans that we did. And again, our 2018 numbers, as you can see, out of the $12.6 million that we did, almost $5 million was in Duluth, and the rest of it was kind of spread out throughout the rest of our region. And then these are kind of a breakdown of the different loan types that we have. So, you know, we did about 90 microloans, which is a lot of loans, you know, for 1 year. We did 82 small business loans. So that's kind of a variety of different loans, but it's mostly gap financing where we partnered with banks and other lenders. And then we did 38 SBA 7A loans, and those are the larger loans that we have been doing. And now I'd like to just jump into kind of some of the current COVID-19 options that we have going. So you'll see here, sorry for all the words on the page, you don't have to read it, but this is just an example of our resources page on our website. On the left, it just talks about, you know, if you're an existing client, we're reaching out to our clients right now. We're trying to be proactive. We're telling them, you know, strategizing ways to diversify their revenue or helping them, you know, refinance their loans or get additional loans if they need it. And if you're not a client, we're just reinforcing and letting people know we're still offering our services, our advising and our lending to everyone within our region. And if, you know, if we feel like a good fit to you, please reach out. The right side of this page shows a lot of links. This is being updated on a daily basis. A couple of the loans that Amanda had mentioned earlier, the SBA EIDL loan, the Economic Injury Disaster Loan, and the Paycheck Protection Program. For months, those have been the kind of the loans that we've been recommending people go to first because they are outstanding programs. They're kind of unprecedented programs that are still available. And then we've got some local resources that are at the bottom right here of the page that are constantly changing. And I'll talk about those here in a second. If I can click. Yep, okay. So the Small Business Relief Fund is a grant program that the Entrepreneur Fund put together in partnership with some of these other organizations here. And the goal was to be able to do grants of up to $5,000 for our clients and for really anyone who applies to make sure that they can remain viable during this time. And once we hit around $50,000, we opened up our round one of grants. And in one day, we received over 100 applications. So you can see there's a lot of demand for grants. And we will reopen this again when we have enough money in the pot. But just to let you know it's out there, if you keep checking our website, or if you're an existing client, you'll get an email when this does reopen. But it's a good reason to just keep checking our website for when that fund does reopen. The Cloquet Business Assistance Loan is another example of a COVID-related loan. Very low interest rates, up to $2,000 working capital. It's a program that's still ongoing, and information is on our website for that. The Taconite Area Relief Loan Program, I'm not going to get into this one because the IRRR will talk about this. But again, a fantastic loan program that we're facilitating, very low interest rates, just an awesome program. And I've got all of our information up here. My personal email is at the bottom. I just recommend please reach out. Please check our website. It's, the resources are constantly changing. And thank you, everyone. I appreciate your time.
Thanks, John. Now we will have Alex from the Northland Foundation, and I will give him control here. All right, Alex, you should be good.
All right, thanks, Amanda. Thanks, everyone, for registering and showing up. This is a unique time. Got a lot of people on here, so that's good to see. So I'll touch quickly on the Northland Foundation. The Northland Foundation was initially started back in the 80s. It has a revolving loan fund, a program that was geared towards job creation and retention. And it's one aspect of the foundation. We're not solely just a loan program. And just seeing how to click, there we go. Too far. You know how I can go back here, Amanda?
Yep.
There we go. Got it. Yep. So our service area is much like everybody who's on the call here today. We have the Arrowhead region, the 7 counties, and the 3 tribal nations. And we have various people here who are dedicated to the program. It's not a very large shop. However, we got Susan Ravila here, Tony Sertich, our president, myself, Michael Kolkloff. And what we do with our current borrowers is we choose to try to work with them for when things start to get difficult. We definitely want to try to be a patient lender. I mean, that's the focus. We don't want to have to ever come and take somebody's home or work that way. We try to definitely figure out a plan going forward, ultimately to be repaid, because that program revenue does come back into the foundation, which lets us then implement our other programs along with relend those funds out into the service area. And then with banks, we definitely choose to partner with banks because it's nice having another set of eyes on the project along with the business plan. It just shows more due diligence, and to know that certain questions are being asked that not just yourself as a business owner or one person can come up with. On the other token, for the foundation, it's really allowed us to work with growing the portfolio, because the lender, the banker is definitely our best source of leads. We've done a little over 600 loans, near 68 million, and we've created jobs, a little over 8,000 since inception. And we have a little snapshot here of some recent loans we've done in the area. Might be hard to read. So when it comes to our funding, we have a revolving loan fund that has been created and utilized. However, we have other programs, much like, it's Entrepreneur Fund, Northspan, and the other partners on the call here. One of them being SBA loans, and we're a community advantage lender, and that's a nonprofit program that we were able to go up to 250,000, and depending on the collateral and the structure of the deal, the terms can be figured out. There's quite a few details there. It's definitely easier just to have a phone call and to see where we can go after the first few steps here, and go from there. I know there's a lot of information coming here from a lot of different parties. One program here that has been pretty key for us over the last couple of months here with the Corona items has been through deed. It's a loan guarantee. It allows us to obtain up to 80% of the loan amount from deed. So this has allowed underwriting to take place. It's a full underwriting, but it's presented opportunities to get money out given the time that we're all in, where traditional lending might not otherwise be permitted due to the certain ingredients. So there is a guarantee fee that is paid to deed. However, that can be utilized inside of the loan proceeds. Another program here, I clicked past it, is again with deed that we have had good success with. This one is based off of either female-owned, veteran, low-income, disabled, or persons with disabilities. This again is deed funds that they allow us to lend out, which again helps us with underwriting to be able to get money out in key scenarios where maybe traditional financing isn't possible or collateral isn't the best. With our underwriting, like I said, we like to work with the area lenders just because, other bankers, because we have more sets of eyes on it, better due diligence there. So we do look for making sure we're trying to think of everything and to make sure it makes sense for that owner and for us. So the business plan is definitely key for us to have. Utilizing SBDC has been valuable. And it allows us to see what type of role we can play. Ideally, with that business plan, we'll have a lender involved, a bank on the front, and we'll come in as a gap and try to make the whole deal work. We can go up to 500,000. However, that's not very common. We typically are around 75,000 up to 150,000 seems to be our most common loan size. Granted, we're in a pretty unique time right now, so that relationship is key with our current borrowers and the bankers, because traditionally to give a loan out in about 3 days or within a week is difficult. So the idea of rescue financing or doing a bailout, so to speak, really comes down to the strength of the business plan, what's going forward, and working together. So with being a gap lender, we will oftentimes go second place subordinated to the bank to allow everybody to feel comfortable. So our program is here. I'm here. It seems just a phone call is easiest to do, to just see what the next step might look like. And then knowing all the different area resources, we can connect you to who makes the most sense for whatever step you're on. So give a phone call or an email, and I'd be happy to go from there. And that's all I have here on our program. So thank you.
Thanks, Alex. All right, we are going to go on to Kurt with the Northeast Minnesota Small Business Development Center. So Kurt, you're up and you have control of my screen.
Amanda, I can't seem to get, there we go.
There you are, yep. We can hear you now.
Thank you, sorry about that. So the Northeast Minnesota Small Business Development Center, the one thing that we don't do, it seems like everybody else does, is we don't lend money, but we work with everybody. So we are the Small Business Development Center. It's a grant funded program from the Small Business Administration, which allows us to work with starting entrepreneurs and existing businesses. And we do that. Some of the things that we do are business plans and projections. Here's our service area. So we overlap a lot of the same service areas that the other organizations, our providers, do. We have the 7-county area there, and where those stars are is where we have our actual office locations now, just like everyone else. And one of the reasons we're doing Zoom today is obviously we are working via phone, we are working via Zoom meetings, and we are starting to do some in-person meetings as well. So if somebody signs up for our no charge consulting services, we give them the option of meeting via phone, meeting via Zoom, or meeting one-on-one as well, obviously following social distancing and current practices we need to do. So some of our deliverables that we had in 2019, we worked with 821 businesses throughout that Northeast regional Minnesota area. We had about 7,800 consulting hours. We helped start 44 new businesses. We helped people raise 16.2 million in capital. So we didn't lend that money, but if you worked with us and you went out and got a loan, maybe from one of the other organizations here or through a bank, then that's part of our capital raised. We helped create about and or save about 1,100 jobs. Some of our customer demographics or client demographics, 52% were women-owned businesses, 6.1% were veteran-owned, and 8.3% were minority-owned. So what are some of the things that we do? Well, starting a business. If you're in fact, later today at 2 p.m., we are doing a virtual Zoom meeting for our Starting a Business workshop. So that's one of the first things we do is help people get their business started. Where do they go? What are their first steps? What do they look for? And so that's a big part of what we do. And part of that is the business plan. So the business plan involves all these different factors and areas. We have research that we can provide through the UMD library and other resources that we have that can help you look for that and help plan. It's always a good idea to have a plan. We do market research. So if you're looking to find out what is the demographic of your market in your area, we can help you find that. We can help you take a look at some of the sales and advertising practices for your types of business. How much should I spend on sales and advertising for my type of business? We have templates and things that we can look at that can help you do that. We can suggest record-keeping systems, whether it be QuickBooks Desktop, QuickBooks Online, FreshBooks, Wave. There's all kinds of record-keeping systems that we can help you decide on which one works best. E-commerce guidance. We've done some workshops in the past on search engine optimization and website development, and we plan to do more of those in the future. Accounting software analysis, again, whether it's QuickBooks Desktop or QuickBooks Online, how do you use that? When do you use that? How do I set that up? Manufacturing assessment. If you're a manufacturer, we can take a look at some of the market in the area. Loan packaging. So when you go to one of these organizations that are going to help you with a loan, our part in this could be helping you get that business plan together, get that solidified, as well as do some financial projections. What is your cash flow going to look like? What are other things going to be? So whether it's a bank or another lender, we can help you put that all together before you go to them. A lot of times we'll have referrals back and forth. Export assistance, we also have people that have export certifications. So if you're looking to try to export your products, we can help you with that and assist you with that on ways to do that as well. So workshops and seminars, like I said, we're doing a Starting a Business in Minnesota at 2 p.m. today. We will continue with that virtually. We're working on writing a business plan and doing some more QuickBooks workshops in the future. Right now, we're kind of still evaluating and figuring out how we're going to move through this whole COVID-19 thing as well, just like everybody else, and we'll be ramping up and doing more of that in the future. Business resources, again, we have access to some databases that the regular user doesn't have through the UMD library and other places. So we can find out some things on industry and market data and some resources that, like I said, if you don't have access to, we can help provide access to that through us and give you the information that you might be looking for. So again, we have a no charge service. It's free because of the SBA grant that we get. Our website is nesbdc.org. We like people to go to our website and click on a button that says sign up for service, or you can call us at 726-7298. And our mission is simply to help business grow. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Kurt. All right, we are going to move on here with IRRR and Scott Sunball. So I am going to pass this over to Scott. All right, Scott, you are able to just click and move the slideshow forward.
All right, welcome everyone. I am Scott Sunball from Iron Range Resources and Rehabilitation. Oh, there we go. So the Department of Iron Range Resources and Rehabilitation is a state of Minnesota development agency located in Eveleth, Minnesota. The agency was formed in 1941, and it is funded by production mining tax, which the mines pay to the state in lieu of property tax. The agency's mission is to promote and invest in business, community, and workforce development for the betterment of Northeast Minnesota. And the agency provides funding in ways of grants, low to no interest loans, and loan guarantees for businesses relocating or expanding. We typically work off about a $5.5 million annual budget. And how do I get this slide to advance? Oh, there we go. So this is a look at our service area. It's very similar to others. I guess we have a little extra piece down the Aiken area, but we are missing the Couchiching piece up north. So it is based on school districts where mining is or once was. It's about 13,000 square miles, 50 cities, 132 townships, 15 school districts, and about the size of West Virginia. Okay, the types of financial assistance that we have our direct loans, bank participation loans, which are pretty much our bread and butter. We do have a loan guarantee program, and then we do have the Taconite Area Business Relief Program going on right now. Eligible businesses for bank participation loans, direct loans, and equity investments are manufacturing and assembly. Businesses in the service industry that attract outside expenditures outside of the region. These are typically like the Delta Airlines or the call centers or some other type of business that's bringing business in. Or the technologically innovative projects. Ineligible businesses for these types of loans are retail and service, media, speculative real estate, professional office, agriculture, construction, and tourism. Okay, our direct loans, these loans, it's probably the least of type of loan that the agency does. We probably average 1 to 2 direct loans to businesses. Currently our interest rate is 3% on this loan. We do not have a maximum, but we are statutorily limited to only financing half of the project, and that would be whether it's a direct loan or a bank participation loan. Whoops. Okay, our bank participation loans, like I said before, this is what we do most. We partner with a bank. We typically purchase half of the bank loan at 1%, which brings that blended rate down to the customer, probably similar to the 3%, which our direct loan is. And again, we have no maximum on that. We're limited to half of the project. And the allowable use of funds would be land acquisition, improvements, building, construction, renovations. Equipment and installation is probably what most of these loans are used for. And then also marketing, inventory purchases. Our loan guarantee program, this is probably the newest program that we have on a regular basis. It's about 4 to 5 years old, which allows us to guarantee up to 75%, up to $75,000 of a traditional bank loan. This program allows us to help the service industries and some of the other businesses that aren't eligible for our direct loans or participation loans. The only stipulation is the business must have been in business for at least 2 years within the service area and under the same management. Okay, now the newest kind of program we have out, kind of for the COVID relief program. The agency has funded a loan program administered through the Entrepreneur Fund. We put $5 million into it. So any business that has been in business for at least 1 year and operating, let's see, as of March 1st, I believe, can qualify. The maximum loan is up to $40,000. The loan term is 60 months after a 6-month deferment period, and it'd be at 2%. Here's a couple links if anyone is interested in applying for this. You can get right off the Entrepreneurs Fund website. If you go to the COVID relief tab and go all the way to the bottom, the link to the application will be right there. Otherwise, you can link right off of our website, right at the bottom there. Okay, so here's the eligible businesses. They have to be operating on March 1st. And if the business is closed, it must plan to reopen. And the business must be actively managed, and loans must be personally guaranteed by the primary owners, and a blanket UCC filing statement must be filed. And that is all I have for you today. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Scott. I recognize we are running a little short on time. We do have a few presenters left. We have Great River Energy and ARDC. If you do have any questions, feel free to throw them in the chat, and I will make sure that we find a way to get those answered for you. So Jeff, you now have control of my screen.
Excellent. I will do my best to buy us back a little time here. There we go. Yeah, so Great River Energy is a generation and transmission cooperative. Just about everything on this slide is in the process of changing right now. Probably the only thing that will stay the same is that we'll remain the second largest electric utility in the state, serving 28 different member owner cooperatives. Like all other utilities right now, however, we are in the process of decommissioning a few of our power plants, including a recent announcement that we will be closing North Dakota's largest coal-fired power plant. Certainly, we don't celebrate the loss of jobs and the impact that's going to have on our friends and neighbors and communities in North Dakota, but certainly we are also looking ahead to the future and just the new realities on the MISO market here in the Midwest. And we will be moving more aggressively towards wind energy with some new wind farms planned for the southern part of the state and other neighboring states. Our goal is to be 50% renewable by 2030. So we provide power to these 28 cooperatives, but we also provide an array of different services, economic development services being one group of those. We do a lot of different things. I'll focus on the financing programs today and try to keep it short. The newest program that we've rolled out is our Business Expansion Loan Fund. This is a direct loan that's offered from Great River Energy to a business served by one of our member owner cooperatives. And we can do loans up to $500,000 at 0% interest. The only real threshold requirement to meet to be eligible for this program beyond being served by one of our member-owned cooperatives is that the project will generate a minimum of 500 kW, about half a megawatt in new energy sales for that member. So really this is aimed at helping our members, and which often are serving rural communities, help them compete for projects that are looking at multiple locations around the state, around the country, and helping our members compete for these low growth projects is a priority. We also have this program available for those members and businesses that might not be eligible for some of our other programs, including USDA, which has some geographic restrictions that I'll go over. Most recent project example we've done through the Business Expansion Loan Fund was a fairly large project down in Faribault. Daikin Corporation expanding a second location in the Faribault area and is the catalyst to the development of a new industrial park around the site they are expanding on. So that's a $40 million project. Daikin, a global corporation, doesn't really need our gap financing programs. So what was unique here is we actually did this loan, $500,000 loan to Rice County and the city of Faribault as they were working to build out the water and necessary infrastructure to serve the Daikin project as well as the rest of that industrial park. So something unique about this program, although the qualifying project needs to fit these categories and hit that 500 kW threshold, that qualifying project may result in a loan that doesn't go to the company, but may go to a public entity building out infrastructure on behalf of that company. And certainly that could be used as matching funds for other grants or loan programs that are available for infrastructure of that type. The E3 loan program is a little more specific. This is our energy efficiency and electrification program. Once this was all about conservation, and certainly we still do make calculations on efficiency gains through this program and report those to the state as part of our conservation improvement goals. But also we're just looking to encourage general electrification. As we work to green up our power generation sources, we're finding that any electrification of a fossil fuel powered piece of equipment or whatever it may be, those conversions are having an astounding impact on energy conservation overall. However, you know, when you're looking at some of the more efficient equipment, like when you're buying your own appliances at home, you know that some of those with the highest Energy Star ratings are going to carry a little bit higher price tag. So we know that there's a higher upfront cost when it comes to energy efficiency. And of course, that is paid back over the life of that equipment. So what we're looking to do is help reduce that upfront cost or that burden in making those investments and wise decisions for efficiency. And we're offering up to $350,000 at 0% interest. They can carry an interest rate. We have done one loan out of this program in its history that did have an interest rate, and I believe that was tied to, you know, the choices of equipment. And, you know, if you choose the most efficient, you can have 0%. If you choose this model, it'll be at a slightly higher interest rate. And you know, you do the math on the cost of the debt service and the cost of the upfront investment in the equipment, and you make a decision on what's right for your business. A recent example here, and I think I hope it's a growing trend, we did an E3 loan with Lake Country Power to help Hillwood Products up in Cook invest in a new bandsaw, some new automation equipment. As we see the workforce shortage, demographics continue to show us we're going to have a shortage in workers, especially in some of our more rural communities. You know, we're no longer seeing automation to replace workers. We're seeing automation to fill those gaps when recruiting just isn't finding the talent they need. So, you know, often when we're looking at automation projects that aren't creating jobs, you know, you're not hitting the right buttons for some of the traditional economic development financing programs without that job creation factor. But E3 is one of those programs out there that is available, whether or not the project is resulting in job creation or not. Obviously, we want to see jobs created in our rural communities, but we also know that these investments and extending the life of these production operations is very important to those communities as well. These loans must go through a GRE cooperative, unlike the Business Expansion Fund, where we're doing a loan directly to a business. In this program, we make the loan to one of our member owner cooperatives, they pass that loan on. So they are in the middle of the deal, and certainly we need their support and their board's approval as we move forward through that process. Both of these programs internally at Great River Energy, however, are managed by our internal loan committee. So we can do turnarounds in terms of loan approvals. We're talking about a month or two versus some of our other programs that we work with at the federal level that can take significantly longer. The number one program we work with at the federal level, obviously there's a lot out there, a lot of different federal agencies. USDA has a lot of different great programs. You should certainly check out their website and take a look at all the good things they're doing in our rural communities. The one that we work with the most, however, is the Rural Economic Development Loan and Grant Program, Red Leg as we call it. And this is a unique program. It's only available to rural telephone and electric cooperatives. So the pool of applicants nationwide is considerably smaller than other programs where, you know, every city under the sun might be applying for a project. And our rate in GRE, as we help our member cooperatives put together applications, we have a very high approval rating. The majority of the applications we send in are ultimately awarded funds. And that just comes from the experience of understanding how the program works. It's a competitive process. There is a scoring involved. And certainly and how to maximize the potential in our applications. The loan amount changes, but I believe right now they're allowing up to applications for up to $2 million. And these are loans that are made, again, as a pass-through through a cooperative. So you need to have a participating cooperative with their board approval. And the loan is extended to the cooperative at 0% interest. That's passed on to the ultimate recipient, the end-use project. And the co-op is allowed to charge up to a 1% service fee. That's not always the case. Some cooperatives in support of the project will waive their right to collect that fee. Others will make it a 0.5%. But that is other than the service fee, there is no interest on these loans. Let's see here. There we go. So it's called the Rural Economic Development Loan and Grant. The loan side is that pass-through I just went through. The grant side is confusing because there are no grants available to end-use projects to businesses. What this is the co-ops can apply for a grant, and they receive a grant of up to $300,000, which they would match with $60,000 of their own, and those are extended as a 0% interest loan to a different set of projects. Where the pass-through loan program is really focused on traditional economic development projects, job creation, community investment, things like that. The grant side, those are restricted to public use buildings. So if your community or your business is getting involved in a business incubator, those are available. If it's a senior living facility or some kind of a public health benefit or new technology or educational resources for a community, fire halls, fire trucks, any public use would qualify that grant. Once that loan is paid back to the co-op, the difference between this and the pass-through loan program is the co-op does not send that money back to the federal government. It stays local in your communities, and the co-op manages that as a revolving loan fund. Their original match money stays in that pot. The government's money stays in that pot, and the goal is to grow these funds over time. You see some of the logos, anywhere that Minnesota Power doesn't serve in Northeast Minnesota, those areas are typically either served by a muni, or if you're not in the city limits, you're served by one of our member owner cooperatives. And all of these co-ops shown on the board here have revolving loan funds. They have a lot of autonomy in how they develop their plans, what the focus is, what the loan parameters are. For example, USDA says they can't charge more than prime interest, but it's really up to the individual co-op boards and how they've set up the revolving loan fund plans on what will the interest rate be. For some, it's as low as 1%. For others, it's a minimum of 3%. It really varies, but always below prevailing prime interest, always 10-year terms, I would say. Sometimes they go up to 20 on certain projects. And then the minimum and maximum loan availability varies. So if you're interested in learning more about the specific details in your particular neck of the woods, let me know and I will get you connected with the folks at the co-op and the application and all the information you need. My other panelists are probably sick to death of hearing about this project, but I do like to talk about it just because this is a good example of how different funds can be So we worked on this over in Park Rapids. So it's a senior living facility, $18 million project. And Bremer Bank was the lead lender. I think it's important for all of us GAP lenders to walk into the room and introduce ourselves to the bankers. Hi, I'm Jeff Borling. I'm in second position. Everybody's friends after that point, and we can really hammer out some solid deals that benefit everyone. In this case, we worked with Bremer Bank to put together a total of $1.71 million in 0% interest funds. That came through a red leg loan, pass-through loan, and because there was public health benefit, they also qualified for the grant side. So we applied for both, hoping we get one. We were approved on both sides of the program. And then GRE in third or fourth position kicked in a $350,000 E3 loan. Again, all 0% interest all over a 10-year term. And everyone from the company to the construction firm to Bremer Bank and the co-op, this was a deal that really worked out well for everyone. I do see a question that says when business expansion, does that include acquisitions? We do participate in business succession and acquisition financing. Typically, we're looking for an investment that's happening, which is not uncommon, right? You buy a new business, it needs some new equipment, you have a new product idea, whatever it is. We do try to look for some level of investment that's happening for all of our programs versus just a kind of refinancing. I will say for the business expansion fund, it needs to result in 500 kW, half a megawatt in new energy sales. So for to qualify for the specific business expansion loan fund, there needs to be some level of growth, right? That's going to generate new energy sales. And sometimes if a company's been closed for a long time and we're bringing it back online, breathing new life into a vacant building or something along those lines in the process of that acquisition, that might also help hit the right buttons. So with that, I'll cede the rest of my time and hope we have some folks hanging on the line for questions. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Jeff. Thank you for everyone who has hung on here through the end of our presentation. It's quite ambitious to have 7 groups going in an hour, but we have Anthony Landgren from ARDC who's going to present on their revolving loan fund. So Anthony, you should be set up to just click and take control of that PowerPoint.
All right, thank you, Amanda. I'm Anthony Landgren. I'm an associate planner with ARDC, and I'll be going over our current RLF revolving loan fund and our new EDA CARES revolving loan fund. So a little bit about Arrowhead Regional Development Commission. It's a regional and community planning consultant working to further Northeast Minnesota as a great place to live, play, and work and learn. ARDC primarily does transportation, planning, senior services, land use planning, and economic development. What I'll be focusing on is the economic development aspect. The Federal Economic Development District has designated ARDC as the Economic Development District for Northeast Minnesota. Our RLF plan has been around since 1987, so we've serviced several hundred loans and have a lot of experience with them. So our current RLF is capitalized through the federal EDA. It makes loans to businesses within the 7-county Arrowhead region of Minnesota. So we are bound to that area and can't service outside. In most cases, the funding is for-profit businesses and startups and expansions. Retail, restaurants, and other hospitality businesses are not eligible. We have a minimum loan of $10,000 and a maximum loan of $250,000 with interest rates between 6% or 7%. 1.5% originations fees are required and borrower must pay for the closing and legal services. Collateral and or private equity is generally required. With our new EDA CARES RLF though, we are poised to receive $3.8 million in federal EDA funding to lend to Northeastern Minnesota. In addition to our traditional eligible businesses, we are able to lend to retail, restaurants, nonprofits, and other businesses that have proved to be impacted from the COVID-19 pandemic. The program will not likely require collateral and or private equity for impacted businesses. And our interest rates will be flexible with the possible standard interest rate being 70% 75% of the prime rate listed in the Wall Street Journal. So about 2.5% today. It is likely that principal payments will be deferred for 6 to 12 months, and the origination fee will likely be waived if the borrower can demonstrate impact from the pandemic. We will also pay the legal servicing fees at closing. Currently, we have not been awarded this money yet, but it is set to come in this week. So once that is set, we are able to start loaning out. So that was just a quick introduction about it. So if you need any further information, you can always contact me or our director, Andy Hubley, to get information.
All right, thank you. So I don't see any questions that have popped through on the chat. If anyone wants to unmute themselves and ask anything, we could probably take maybe one or two. I recognize that we're a little bit over right now. So if anyone has anything, this is your chance. Otherwise, we want to thank everyone for joining us today. Like I said, we will record the session and have it available online. It'll be on the Northspan's website, as well as a link will go out to that in an email. So I just want to thank all of our presenters today for joining us, and everyone who was able to. And that is kind of all we have for you today. So, oh, I see a raised hand.
Well, I'm just going to blurt out and ask Jeff, where's his beard? Oh, it looks like
everyone was commenting on how long my beard is. Now they're commenting it's gone. I said I'm gonna start wearing my mask on Zoom meetings too.
Oh, looks like Kurt picked it up from you.
I saw someone had raised their hand, but then they disappeared, so I am not sure where their question went. So feel free to reach out to anyone on the call, and we'll make sure that this is available. Thank you all for attending.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.